Imagine, one morning the world woke up to find out that a large military alliance of several countries was advancing towards the mainland of the United States. The question arose, is it really possible to defeat such a powerful country? Or is this just a movie story? Today, we will not be looking for an answer to this question in the light of history, geography, military power, economy, and real data. First of all, we need to make one thing clear. In modern warfare, victory is not determined by the number of troops or tanks alone. A country's position, technology, economy, industry, communication system, allied countries, and the preparedness of its people, all of these factors determine the outcome of the war. The United States' biggest advantage is its geographical location. The Atlantic Ocean to the east and the Pacific Ocean to the west. These two vast oceans are like a natural defensive wall. If a country wants to attack the United States with land forces, it will have to cross thousands of kilometers of sea. It is extremely difficult and risky to supply troops, warships, aircraft, fuel, and supplies over such a long distance. Suppose somehow an army reaches the coast of the United States. The war is not over yet. The western region has the Rocky Mountains, vast deserts, and long supply routes. On the other hand, the eastern coast has densely populated areas, important military bases, and a strong navy. As a result, reaching the coast does not mean victory. Not only geography, but the U.S. intelligence and surveillance system is also very advanced. Movements in the air, sea, and land are monitored all the time through modern satellites, radars, surveillance aircraft, and various sensors. As a result, it is very difficult to keep large-scale military operations secret. Another important area of modern warfare is the cyber world. Power systems, communication networks, banking, military command, everything now depends on digital technology. Therefore, the keyboard can also be a powerful weapon in future wars. The United States has been investing in cyber defense and attack capabilities for many years. The United States' strength in the air is also significant. Advanced stealth fighter jets, long-range bombers, surveillance drones, and aerial refueling aircraft allow them to conduct operations for long periods of time. At sea, there is one of the world's most powerful navies and several aircraft carriers, which act as floating military bases. Then comes the issue of the economy. Not only weapons, but also huge money are needed to wage a long-term war. As one of the world's largest economies, the United States has the ability to bear military expenses for a long time. In addition, the country's defense industry can produce advanced weapons and technology on its own. The United States also has significant capabilities in food, energy, and industrial production. As a result, even if external supplies are completely cut off during a war, the country can continue to rely on its own resources for some time. However, this does not mean that the United States is invincible. History tells us otherwise. In the War of 1812, British forces entered Washington and set fire to the White House. This was a major setback in the history of the United States. But in the end, the outcome of the war was complicated, and the two sides later reached a peace treaty. This incident shows that no country is 100% safe. Another important issue is nuclear weapons. The United States, Russia, and several other countries have thousands of nuclear weapons. In reality, if a full-scale nuclear war breaks out between the major powers, there will be no winner. Human civilization will suffer the greatest losses. Therefore, preventing such a war is the greatest goal of world politics. Finally, it can be said that the United States is extremely difficult to attack or occupy. Behind this is powerful geography, advanced technology, a huge economy, military alliances, defense industry, and global presence. But history does not support the claim that it is impossible to ever defeat a country. The outcome of a war depends on strategy, circumstances, alliances, economics, and people's decisions. Therefore, future peace is the greatest victory for humanity rather than future war.